Inhale, exhale, and coming back. You are thinking that I'm practicing yoga. But today I want to talk about a different way of doing yoga. A way that has not that much to do with asanas. Many times when you see people doing asanas, of course we assume this is yoga. But there are other pillars or limbs, other practice that are part of yoga and that take us to a meditative state that in the end it's the goal to stop chitta, to start observing it, to stop the fluctuation of our minds. So let's talk about pranayama. Hi, I'm Violeta, a yoga teacher trained in India. I'm also a psychologist and a professional dancer. And today I want to talk about a very important topic in the yoga practice that can change your way of approaching your personal practice of teaching or simply applying this to your personal life. Let's talk about what is pranayama in a way that we can understand this easily because it can become a very deep topic. Let's see how in science, psychology, we use the practice of pranayama for regulating our nerve system and improving our mental health. When we talk about pranayama, many times we are thinking about breathing exercise. But in reality, the breath is just an instrument that we use. In yoga, and if we go to a very simple definition, the prana is our vital energy. And our vital energy goes all around our body. And many times it can get stuck. We can feel like when our body doesn't have a lot of range of movement or we feel like we cannot breathe enough, our prana could get stuck in different parts of our body. Seeing it from this philosophy perspective, we use the breath as a tool to start moving the prana or activating the prana in our body. And seeing it from a more scientific perspective, when we learn how to breathe, we also start regulating our nerve system. My philosophy teacher will always say that you can see the state of mind of someone when you observe the breath pattern of this person. Breathing shortly, not knowing how to regulate your emotions, your nerve system to bring safety to your body. A few years ago, I was working for this organization where we will cover cases of crisis. One of the tools, the main tools that we will use would be the breath. Learning how to breathe, seeing it from the yoga perspective, pranayamas. So these people could regulate their system and could see with more clarity. This was a powerful tool. There are already many research talking about the breath, the way how we breathe, and all the impacts that has not just in our physical body, but also in our mental health. In a personal perspective, the breath, the practice of pranayama has become the bridge between my body and my mind, and in a very, very powerful way, helping me to feel safe. One of my sankalpas, or these desires that I had in life to become, was to become someone who felt safe, not just in her body, but in the decisions that she took. And breathing was this huge bridge in between the Violeta before and the Violeta now. When we talk about the 8 limbs of yoga, the third one is asanas, because the asana practice connect with our body, help us to gain this flexibility that will allow us also to sit in a comfortable position for long periods of time. And then comes pranayama, the practice of, let's say, controlling the breath, so we start controlling the prana in our body. Having retentions, making those retentions longer every time, and learning how to control your breath, impacting how you make your prana in your body, but at the same time controlling the patterns of your mind. And this pillar or this limb is the door that takes us to a more internal yoga practice, because it's just through the practice of prana that we can start practicing our states or our more introspective parts of yoga, like pratyahara, that is the detachment from the external world, getting detached, taking distance. They will take us to a concentration state that, as a result, we will enter in a meditative state. So let's practice a very simple pranayama that you can add to your yoga practice after your asana practice, or simply when you wake up or before going to sleep. I recommend you, if you are new practicing pranayama, that you can place your hands on your belly. This is going to give you a lot of conscious about where are you bringing this air in your body. So let's keep our hands in our diaphragm and in our lower stomach. We will inhale in 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. You will retain the air in 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you will exhale through your nose without pushing the air, just observing how the air passes through your nostril in 4, 3, 2, and 1. And give yourself 4 more counts to retain without air. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Observe your body. Come back to your normal breath. And you can do this practice several rounds. Practicing this box breathing, that it's really simple, you can start making longer the time of inhaling, retaining, and exhaling. Always keeping the same counts in each part of the practice. The research shows that the practice of this type of pranayama help to reduce symptoms of anxiety and has a great impact in the regulation of our emotional experience. That in the end, this is going to be seen as the way that we behave or we react in life in general. So you can start cultivating resilience, the way how you face challenges in a calmer way, and just observing without attaching to any outcome. So start incorporating this practice of pranayama. There are different pranayamas. You can use some to warm your body, to cool your body, to balance your mind. And each one has different benefits, mentally and physically. And remember, you can sit, practice pranayama, and you are still practicing yoga. Yoga not always looks like a pose, but as a state of mind. Remember, if you want to learn more about this, you can practice with me. I will leave all the links in the description. See you on the mat.